Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to the channel, Big Scrap Nation here. Today, I want to talk to you guys a bit about copper. As you guys know, copper is like scrapper's gold. It's probably worth the most when you are scrapping out stuff. So, how to separate your copper? I'm going to show you guys a few examples here. So, as you guys see, this is bright and shiny copper pipe. It's got no paint, no solder, all that good stuff. No oil has been ran through any of this. But yeah, so this is your number one. This is probably the best copper pipe that you can get is number one. Over here, a lot of yards would classify this as number two because it is, corroded and oils ran through it and all that good stuff. But I have found a yard that'll take this as number one as well. So, but I do have them separated. As you see, number two, clean pipe. This stuff here has no paint, no solder. So like the noodles here that have like no solder on them, they go over here, all that good stuff. But yeah, so anything that's like corroded or has solder, paint, stuff like that, that'll be number two for most yards. Now, there are occasions where you can find a good yard. So like this here would be actually number one. No paint, no solder. But yeah, so you can find yards that are willing to work with you. I know some places in the States, like they'll take this stuff here as number one. Again, my yard won't. That'll be number two. So yeah. Now over here is the actual number two. So as you guys see down here, like we'll grab this piece here. It's got solder joints, as you can see right there. Let's find another one right. Oh, so right here, you got this solder here. Now, I mean, you could clean this up if you wanted to, but what's the point, really? Solder all around there. So anything that's been brazed, soldered, has paint on it. So you guys see, like, there's a piece there that's white. That's white paint. Yeah, so that'll all go as your number two. The noodles down here with the solder on them, as you guys can see, that's number two as well. So yeah, this is your lower grade. So this is like your best, second best, your lowest as far as copper pipe goes. Now, don't get me wrong, you got number two wire, okay, and this is number two copper wire because it's thinner than a pencil lead. So it's really thin. So that goes as number two. There are other stuff. See, this stuff here has got some lacquer on it as well. Now, the reason why this is number two, because it's so thin, is because when they melt it down, they're going to lose quite a bit of the weight when it comes to the melting process. So, yeah, that all just stays in here. What else we got in here that we can show you guys? I mean, that's pretty well it, right? I mean, you got your bus bars. So these are your copper bus bars. I don't know if I scratched this one. Yeah, I did. See, so you can see it's copper. But because it has like this silver tin coating or silver coating on it, these also go for number two. Now, if they're clean, like there's none of that coating on there, they will go for number one heavy. Okay, so keep that in mind. So we got copper motors here. Now all this wire out of these copper motors will be number two because of the lacquer, as you see on there. It's got like this lacquer on here. It is thin wire. I got a whole box of motors here that we got to go through. Basically just cut the crowns and then pull the copper out of them. Yeah. Okay. Now over to this barrel here. Let me just move some of this stuff. This is just foundry stuff here. As you see, I got a little foundry. Sometimes I melt my copper. You know, I sell the odd copper bar on Facebook Marketplace, which is a good avenue, guys, just letting you know. So this copper here, let me just grab some. So this copper here is what we call bare bright. Now this is the best copper you can get as a scrapper, is the bare bright copper wire. This is thicker than a penciletta wire copper, and this is usually your highest paid copper at any yard. So this is even better than #1 pipe. So this is your gold. Now, I mean, if you get a lot of it, like, you know, Project Shop Florida, you're making bank. I don't get a lot of it. Mine mostly come in like wire like this. So this is like Romex. I keep this stuff separate from other wire, and I'll throw it through a wire stripper and get that #1 bare bright. As you guys can see, it's got 3 solid cores. There's this here as well. There's the orange cables. So like some are different gauges, but yeah, they're all pretty well single insulated. So like inside of here's one here. Inside of the Romex, you'll have this. Okay, so you got a white, a ground, and then another wire here. So you have your bare bright here. Now you could sell this, just this wire here, as single insulated #1 wire and get better. I think it's like 60% wire. But I strip it all down, get the bare bright. Sometimes I melt the bare bright, sometimes I don't. It just all depends. If I have someone looking for bars. But until then, I just kind of throw it all in this big box. And solid core, 60%. Strippable wire. You know, then you got your other wire, right? So I don't have any in here, but like smaller graded wire, low grade wire, like your vacuum cord, stuff like that. There's another box of motors I'm starting. Yeah, so you know, like you just pull copper bits off of hot water tank, stuff like that. AC units, that's where I get majority of my copper from, is the AC units. And then the motors obviously out of the furnaces. But yeah, so like here's some pipe here. So, you know, you just clean it up, right? So this part here would be your #2 clean. And then you got solder here, which would be #2. You got your brass, which is also good. We'll go over a different video on brass, because there are different grades of brass, right? So now, like, for instance, though, like, okay, let's grab a pipe here. So it is kind of corroded. The dark pipe is corroded here, as you guys can see. But because no oils ran through this, I think it was just a water or gas pipe or whatnot. This piece here would be classified as #1 clean. Okay, and then you can cut here and get another piece of #1 clean. This, because of the brazing and the soldering, that's #2. There's this chunk of brass on there you can cut off if you want. But #1, this will be #2 again. And then all of that, all the way up, is #1. So just to kind of show you guys a little bit, I'm going to clean up a little bit of pipe here. Let me just get situated. And yeah, we'll be back. All right, guys, we are back. I got you guys in the tripod. So we're going to put on our gloves first. We always want to wear our gloves. I'm going to grab up my grinder, so it is going to be a little loud, guys. I apologize, but bear with it. But I got a couple different tools I use. So for this thick pipe, I use a grinder. So there we go. Now I just cut them down small enough, so because I got a bucket underneath I put this on. So as you guys see, we just cleaned that up. Now if we didn't clean that up, all of that would have went from number 2. So let me just grab out my scale here, and I'm gonna demonstrate why it's important to clean your copper, guys. So I got this little scale off Amazon. We are on pounds. So if we were to put all this on the scale as number 2, right? And right now my yard is paying $4.50. So at 3.3 pounds, we're at about 12, 13, let's just say 14 bucks, right? $14 for all of this. Not bad. Okay. But if it wasn't, take all this off. And now our number 2, we have 0.3 of a pound, or that's kilograms, sorry. Let's change that to pounds, should we? There, now we're on pounds. All right, let's put all this back just to make sure we had it right. Okay, we had it right. Okay. So we are on pounds. So there's our number 2, 0.6. So that's about $4 right there. Okay, we're short 10 bucks still, but let's see, right? So for number 1, I get $5 a pound. So this is all going to be number 1. Oh, we got a little bit of solder there. We can go ahead and cut that off. Now we're on kilograms again. But that's okay. We can just switch that into pounds. 2.6 pounds. So 2.6, 5, 10, about 15 pounds. Or about $15, right? So 15 plus the $4 here, right? We basically just made an extra, what, 5 bucks? So yes, and it doesn't take long, guys. It doesn't take long at all. So might as well make the extra $5. Why not? Right? All it does is take a couple minutes to clean it up, and then you sort it. All right, let's keep on going. So this here is kind of an AC pipe, and now with this, I use one of these cable cutters I got off Amazon. Now some yards might take this as number 2, so be careful because of the oil that's ran through it, right? But so for my yard though, this here is number 2. I mean, we got all this gunk on here. I'm not going to worry about cleaning all that off. And then a little bit of solder, that's our number 2. Now, like I said, I have a yard that'll pay number 1 for this, or number 2 clean, which is pretty much number 1 anyways, same price. So this will be number 1. See, that's what I mean, just cut off the bits of solder, right? This here is all number 1. I always cut it down because that way I can fit more in them big boxes, right? Obviously, the more you can fit in a box or a barrel or a bucket, the better, because then you're going to have more weight when you go in. So that's all number 1. That's the good stuff. Now, to this. Okay, so see, this is all dark, corroded, oils ran through it. This would technically go as number 2 at the other yard that I deal with where I bring my number 1. But like I said, I found another yard that'll pay number 1 for this stuff here. So as long as there's no solder or paint, But again, we're just going to cut it up. And see, now I got a chunk of brass. When we want our brass, we're going to keep that separate, right? And then there's a piece of solder right there. That'll go as your number 2. That'll go as number 1 or number 2 clean, whichever. All right, now let's carry on here. So no solder on this whatsoever, which is good. That's what we like to see. Now you may be able to get away with this as number 1, but for me, it all goes in there as number 1. But all right, so now you'll come across some pipe like this. It's got this coating or this styrofoam on it. You just pull the styrofoam off. I don't have a garbage can. I'll use that as a garbage can for now. And then just take your knife. This is a box cutter or X-Acto knife. Go along this foam. Like that. And I cut the tape off of it too. Alright. That should just slide right off now. Alright. And now we can cut this up. So a lot of the yards where I'm at in London, Ontario, Canada, will pay number 2 for this stuff. But as I said, I found a decent yard that'll, you know, pay what it actually is, because it is number 1. All right. So just want to try and get as much as this foam off of this pipe as possible. Because if you got all this foam, they're going to downgrade you even worse than number 2. They'll still buy it with the foam on, but it's got more impurities. So just try and clean up the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? And then cut the copper just like that. And now you got a nice chunky piece of brass. Number 2. And all this will be number 1 or number 2 clean. Okay, so we got another one here. This will be our last bunch here that we'll do on video. I do have a lot more I got to do, but I'm sure you guys will get bored after a while just watching me cutting pipe. So, all right. Now, like plumbing brass normally is going to be number 1, unless it has brazing soldering on it. Then obviously it's number 2. Now HVAC, like refrigerant copper, like this stuff, your yards can be picky, right? Because there is oil that runs through it. They can say, oh, that's number 2 all day long. And if you don't have a lot of yards, unfortunately, you're going to get number 2 for it. But if you get a good yard that is not willing to rip you off, then you should be able to get number 1 for it. All right. Because at the end of the day, once it gets shipped overseas, it all gets melted down together anyways. So they shouldn't be as picky as they are, in my opinion. But that's just a scrapper's opinion, right? All right. So now that we got all the foam off, so I got like little buckets underneath my table here. I'll show you. Show you what I do. Kind of like my system, I guess you call it. So under my table, I got my number 1, my number 2 clean, and then my number 2. When they get full, I'll take them over to the boxes, dump them in the boxes. And yeah, so all right, guys. Well, that's pretty much it for this video. So, you know, as I've said, you know, it's always best to just sort your copper to maximize your profits whichever way you can. So again, just to quickly go over, we got our number 1 pipe, our number 2 clean pipe, which can also go for number 1, and our number 2, which is solder, paint, you know, stuff like that, impurities. And then the best stuff is your bare bright. I don't have a lot of it, so yeah. All right, guys. Well, hopefully you guys enjoy the video, and let me know if you guys separate your copper and what categories you separate it in. Is it 1, 2, 1, 2, 3? You know, what have you. And let me know the prices down in the comment of what you get for each category of your copper too at your scrapyard. I'm quite interested. All right, guys. Until next time. Keep scrapping. Have a good one. But most importantly, wash your damn hands. Take care, y'all.